Hi everyone, and welcome to the fourth installment of the 10x Success series. And today we're going to be discussing a really important topic, and that is how our attitude is so important. And we all know the saying, your attitude determines your altitude. And yet I find it so interesting that so many of us walk around with really bad attitudes. And I'm guilty of it myself. And the question I keep asking myself is it my circumstances and my environment that determine my attitude, or is it me that determines my attitude? And in listening to Tony Robbins, who's a really great author and speaker on the subject, he says, can you think of anyone who's really wealthy, got great circumstances, but is very unhappy? And can you think of someone who's got very poor circumstances, but is incredibly happy? Can you think of someone who lives in the most perfect climate and is incredibly unhappy? And you get someone who lives in an igloo, for instance, who's incredibly happy. So it doesn't seem to be our environment or our circumstances that determine our attitude. It's really an internal choice. And so for me, it's been a really interesting study on attitude. And what I've found is that the best way to have a great attitude is to start with an attitude of gratitude. And that's how I try and start every day. I wake up early in the morning and I just take 5 minutes lying in bed to think about 3 things that I'm grateful for. And the first one is just to be grateful that I'm alive, that I'm breathing, that I'm in a warm bed, and that's the start of another day. The second thing I'm grateful for is my wife and my son, and the fact that they are such wonderful people adding so much to my life. And I just choose to be grateful for that relationship or those relationships. And then the last thing I choose to be grateful for is just hearing the sound of the birds in the trees, for instance, and just knowing that I can get up out of bed, go to work, and do something really meaningful and important for that day. So gratitude is a great way of creating and the right kind of attitude. But life happens. And it's not that easy sometimes. So, when I find myself slipping into a bad attitude or a negative attitude, I do 3 simple things. The first thing I do, and it's going to sound strange, I just smile. And it's amazing the power of a smile. The second thing I do is I just move. I get up, I move, I take a few deep breaths, and I just energize myself. And then the third thing I say to myself is, this too shall pass. No matter what it is, this too shall pass. And I find that those 3 things just help my attitude incredibly. So I'm going to encourage you is from today's lesson is just go out there and smile, move around, be grateful, and see how that improves your attitude. Have a great one.